Hello CraftDee Family, and welcome to another tutorial by She's So Crafty. For today's DIY project, we'll be creating some fun and easy home decor items for your home. Now these pieces are a mix of different styles and include some wood elements to give it a high-end look. Now I've placed some of my favorite decorative accessories on these pieces, but you can certainly customize these into your farmhouse, modern, or even boho style decor. Now for your convenience, I provided the complete list of supplies and tools that I use to make these projects in the description box below. Now I'm so very excited to share this tutorial with you, but before we start, I have to say hey, and welcome back to my amazing subscribers and visitors to my channel. Now if you are a new visitor to my channel today and love to create fun and easy DIY projects on a budget, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button and also click that notification bell so you will be the first to know when a new DIY tutorial is ready to share with you. So now, let's jump right into these projects. Now this project is a decorative set of pots with tray stand. So we're going to need 4 of these clay pots from the Dollar Tree. We'll need some wood beads in the color of your choice. We'll need 1 of these trays from the Dollar Tree. And we'll need 1 3-pack of these wood paint stir sticks from Lowe's for 98 cents. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and unpackage all of our clay pots, and we are going to prepare these to paint, and I'll be using some black acrylic paint for my pots. Now I'm just going to apply 1 nice coat of acrylic paint on my pots because it seems to provide a really good coverage. Now you do want to get the inside of the pot as well, and on the inside I go down about 1.5 inches just because that may be displayed when I put my plants inside. So now I'm going to go ahead and trim my pots with these beads. Now what I did with my beads is I went ahead and cut them in half so I can actually save and also create a distinctive look, and I just did this with wire clippers, and I'll link the demo in the upper right hand corner of this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my beads and I'm going to start applying them around that top edge of my pot. Now I'm just going to center them on that top band, and I'm going to apply them with my hot glue. Now as you can see, I am holding the bead as I am applying it, and I found that later on down the way I actually found it much easier to put a dot of glue on the actual pot and then place the bead on top. Now I am placing the hold of the bead on the side and not the top so it won't be seen. So here is what the beads will look like when it's all trimmed out on top, and just repeat this for the remainder of your pots, and here they all are ready to go. So now we're going to start working on that tray, and I'm going to be working on the back of my tray. So I'm going to be applying some of these paint sticks to the back for a wood trim. So I'm just measuring the length of that elevated part of the back of the tray and making a mark, and then cutting my sticks down to size. So once my sticks are nice and cut, I'm going to first of all remove that sticker, and then I'm going to place all 3 of my wood sticks on the back so they're nice and even. Now to make sure that they stay even when applying them, I'm just going to take some of my painter's tape and I'm going to place a few strips on top so they will all stay together when I move them. So now it's time to bond our paint sticks, and again I'm going to take my glue gun. I have my wood sticks in here, but any glue should be able to work for this. Apply some hot glue to the back and then center your sticks on the back of the tray. Now once they are nice and bonded, you can go ahead and remove some of that painter's tape off the back. Now I will be staining this in my Jacobian Minwax stain, so I'm just going to take my rag and apply 1 nice coat of my stain to those stir sticks. Now you also want to stain the sides as well. So now I'm just going to go in with a rag soaked with a little alcohol and clean up any stain that may have gotten on the plastic part of the tray. So once that's nice and dry, we can go ahead and grab our pots. Now 3 of the pots will fit on the tray, and I'm going to sit 1 to the side for another project. And now just add any kind of greenery of your choice, and I'm choosing some succulents and greenery from the Dollar Tree, and they fit perfectly in these pots. And here is the completed project on display. Now this was so quick and easy to do. Now these beautiful pots turned out so amazing, and I think that that beaded trim turned out perfect. Now I love the wood added to the back of the tray as well. Now, however you decide to paint and display these, it's sure to be a great accent for your space. Now this project is a set of wood box decor. So we're going to need 4 of these wood mini crates from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to need 2 of these 7/16 inch or larger wood dowels from Walmart, and they're 97 cents each. Now we're going to start by cutting our dowels down to size, and we're going to cut 4 pieces at 1 inch. We're going to cut 4 pieces at 3 inches. Cut 4 pieces at 5 inches. And then cut 4 pieces at 7 inches. So now that everything is cut and ready, we are going to go ahead and stain our pieces. And of course, I will be using my Jacobian stain again. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and apply one nice coat of that stain to the inside and the outside of all of your crates. Now you do want to be careful and make sure you get in between all those little crevices and the sides as well. Now you do see where the manufacturer glue did not take the stain, but that is okay. That will not be showing in our final project. And now that all of our crates are nice and stained, we can work on the dowels. And I am going to apply the stain to the outside of the dowels, making sure you don't get any stain on each of the raw ends. And now our stains are dry and they are ready to go. We can go ahead and put our stands together. So I'm going to take one of the crates and I'm going to flip it face down with the back facing you, and I'm going to start with those 1-inch dowels. Now I'm going to place those on the back using my Surebonder wood stick hot glue. So just take one of the dowels and I want to place 1 dowel on each corner of the back of the crate, and it's approximately 1/4 of an inch from the edge. Just apply a generous dab of that Surebonder hot glue to the dowel and press it firmly into place, and you want to put 1 in each corner. And here are all of our dowels on, and you see they make the perfect little legs. So now for the second crate, we're going to move on to the 3-inch size dowels, and we are going to repeat the same process by applying that glue on there and then placing those in place. And now for our last 2 crates, just apply the remaining 2 sizes, and here are the 2 taller crates. Now this glue is pretty strong, and if you wanted to, you could add some wood screws from the inside going down into the dowels if you like. I think that my glue will serve the purpose that I need, so I will not be doing that in my project. So here are all 4 of our crates, and now we can decorate them. And now that everything is ready, we can decorate and place these on display. Now how cute are these little crates? Now we've decked out our crates with just a few accessories, and I am really loving this look. Now I think that this multi-height design is so visually appealing, and it makes your accessories really stand out. Now of course that stained wood is always so beautiful. You guys have to let me know, how would you decorate these crates in your space? Now this project is a set of hanging display frames. So we're going to need one 1x2 from the Home Depot for these. Now these come in 8-foot lengths, and as you can see, they are really inexpensive at only $1.54 each. Now we'll also need one black wire basket from the Dollar Tree or waste bin, but I'm going to be using some of this gutter guard liner from Lowe's for the same purpose. Now we'll need one plant hanger chain from the Dollar Tree as well to hang our frames. Now the first thing we're going to do is have our wood cut down, and we're going to need 4 pieces at 5 inches. We're going to need 4 pieces at 6.5 inches. We're going to need 2 pieces at 8 inches and 2 pieces at 8.5 inches. So now we're going to take all of our pieces, and we are going to apply a beautiful layer of that Jacobian stain to all of our pieces. So for the first pieces we are going to stain are our 5-inch pieces, and you want to stain the outside and the 2 sides of the piece, and you don't want to stain the ends on these pieces because that will be a connecting piece in our frame. And as you can see, the ends are unstained and all 3 of the other sides are stained. So the second set are the 8-inch pieces, and we're going to be staining these the same way we did for the 5-inch pieces, making sure that those ends are nice and unstained. Now for the last 2 sets, which are the 6-inch and 8.5-inch pieces, we are going to stain the ends of these and the other 3 sides. So now our pieces are nice and dry, and we can start to put our frames together. So we're going to start with 2 of the 5-inch pieces and 2 of the 6.5-inch pieces for our first frame, and we want to sandwich those 5-inch pieces in between. Now to bond these, we are going to be using our SureBonder hot glue, our wood stick hot glue for these as well, and we're just going to apply a generous amount to that raw edge and place them all together. Now once these are all bonded together, they will form the perfect 5-inch interior dimension frame. Just press them securely in place. Now for the second frame, we are going to be doing the same thing. Now for this frame, we are going to be taking 2 of the 8.5-inch pieces and 2 of the 5-inch pieces, and we are going to be sandwiching those 5-inch pieces in between those 2 pieces. So again, we're going to take our SureBonder hot glue and apply those pieces together. And once those are nice and secure, we have our second frame. Now for the last frame, we're going to take 2 6.5-inch pieces, and we're going to sandwich our final piece in between them, which is the 8-inch piece. And we're going to do the same thing until we have our frame completed. So now all 3 of our frames are completed and ready to go. Now I am going to be hanging my frames, so I do want to screw in the ends. So I'm going to be just taking my drill and first of all drilling a pilot hole where I want to put my screws. Now if you want to sit these on a countertop or a shelf and you don't want them to hang, there's no need to actually add the screws. I'm just adding the screws because I will be hanging mine. Now I will be using some number 6 1.25-inch wood screws to apply to each one of my frame's corners. So I'm just going to start by hand threading that screw into the corner and then drilling it securely in place until it's nice and flush. And you want to repeat this for all of your frames. So here are all my screws in place, and you do notice they do have a silver color, and we're going to remedy that by painting them. So I'm going to take some of this nutmeg brown and some of this black acrylic paint, and I'm going to blend them together until I get a color close to my Jacobian stain. So I'm going to take a fine paintbrush and then dab it on the inside and outside of that screw head until it's nice and blended in. And as you can see, here are all my screw heads painted, and you can barely see them. So now I'm going to take my white chalk paint, and I'm going to be using this to actually paint the inside of my frames. Now I thought this white interior would give it a great pop and make it stand out. So I'm just going to take my paintbrush and paint the inside very carefully. Now you can tape off if you want to, but it's really not necessary. Now here is one of my frames completed, and we can move on to the next ones. Now as I went, a little trick I learned is that using paint strokes from the middle out creates a very clean edge, so there's no need to tape it. So now that all my frame interiors are painted and dry, we can move on to the next step. So again, we have this wastebasket from Dollar Tree that we can cut apart with wire clippers, and we can use this mesh cut to size to fit in the frames. But I'm going to be using some of this gutter guard. Now I love using this in my craft projects. You can get this from the gutter supply section at any hardware store, and this is perfect for this project. It's nice and thick and very durable. Now you can cut these easily with a pair of scissors, so I'm just going to cut a piece to fit the back of one of my frames. Now once it does fit well, we're just going to take our staple gun, and I'm going to staple this mesh right in place. Now, once it's all secure, it looks good, we're going to go ahead in with a hammer and just make sure all those staples are nice and secure and flip it over, and that is what one of your frames will look like. Now we're just going to repeat this for the remainder of our frames. So as I mentioned before, I wanted to hang my frame, so I'm taking my plant hanger that I've taken the chains off of, and I'm going to apply this to the back of each one of my frames. Now I'm just trying to decide how long I want my chain. It's completely up to you, and I'm just going to remove any additional chain links with my needle nose pliers. So I'm going to attach each end of my chain to a corner of the back of the frame, and I'm just going to apply this with my staple gun. I'm going to put several staples into that chain, making sure that they are nice and overlapping and making sure that they are nice and secure, and repeat this on the other side of the frame for the other side of that chain. Again, I'm going in with my hammer to make sure everything is nice and secure, and here is what one of our hanging frames will look like. Now you just want to repeat this for your other two frames until all of them have the chains and they're ready to decorate. So now all you have to do is hang these up or sit these on a shelf and decorate them. Now I am so in love with how these turned out. Now these frames are perfect to display your favorite small trinkets, decor pieces, or even greenery. Now you guys have to give these a try with a thicker wood too to put larger trinkets. They're so fun and so easy to make. Now this project is a vertical wood plant display. Now we're going to need 2 packs of the 5-gallon paint stir sticks for 98 cents from Lowe's, or just use 1 pack plus 1 extra paint stick. We're also going to need 2 clean tin cans. So first thing we're going to do is take 3 of those paint stir sticks, and we want to line them up evenly. Now I do want to make sure I cut off that curved part, which equals about 17 inches, and here are all of my paint stir sticks nice and cut and ready to go. Now I'm going to take that 3rd paint stick and I want to lay it right on top across there, and I want to mark the length of that because I'll be cutting 2 pieces to fit across the length of these stir sticks at the top and at the bottom. So now we're going to adhere these together, so I'm going to place the good side down, and I'm using my carpenter square that I got from the Dollar Tree to make sure it's nice and square. So to bond these together, you can certainly use some craft sticks, but I have 2 extra 1-gallon paint stir sticks that I had, and I'm just going to align them along that seam. So what I'm going to do is apply some of my Surebonder hot glue, and then I'm going to place a generous amount of that hot glue on that gallon stir stick and place it along the seam on the back. Now once those are in place and good to go, we're going to flip it over to the good side, and we want to apply those 2 small pieces. Now you do want to apply these with the numbered side facing the good side of our plank, and then place them about 1/4 inch from the bottom. Now you want to do this on both sides. So now that our little holder is ready to go, we are going to stain it. I'm going to apply 1 good coat of my Jacobian Stain by Minwax with my rag, and you just want to make sure that you get in all those crevices, especially along where those cross pieces are across the top and bottom, and don't forget to get those sides as well. So now that it's all stained, you can sit it outside to completely dry. So while that dries, we're going to go ahead and work on our cans. So I'm going to take my 2 cans and I'm going to place 2 marks at the top with my little Sharpie just to drill 2 holes. I want to mark where I'm going to drill 2 holes so that it'll attach to our holder. Now I want to repeat this for both of the cans. Now if you don't have a drill, you can certainly just use a nail and a hammer to make a hole, but I'm going to use my drill to drill those holes out. And once that first one is done, you want to repeat this for that second can. So now that both cans are done, we can go ahead and paint them, and I'll be using my white chalk paint. Now what I want to do is apply that first coat just all over the can. Now I do advise you, do not hold your can the way that I did here. Those inside edges can be kind of sharp, so make sure you wear gloves or protect your hands when you do that. Now you also want to make sure that you do paint the bottoms too, because they will be showing in your project. So once that first layer is on, apply a second layer and then allow them to completely dry. And here are our cans all ready to go. Now I wanted to add a little accent to my cans to showcase those ridges, so I'm going to be using some of this elephant gray acrylic paint to do that. Now you certainly can sand it with a sanding block, but I have an old sanding block here. What I'm going to do is paint a little bit of that elephant gray paint on there, and then I'm going to just stamp it onto the can, and what it does is highlight those ridges for me. Again, you can use sandpaper, but I like the stamping method a little more. I didn't want that shiny metal coming through. So once that dries, so what I'm going to do is accent this with a little bit of ribbon from the Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to wrap it around one of my cans. I'm using some burlap here, and I'm going to just cut 2 strips to wrap around my cans, and then I'm going to end up folding it in half. Now once I do fold it in half, I'm going to start wrapping it around my can, making sure that I start at the back where we drilled those 2 holes. Now to adhere it in place, all I'm going to do is apply some of that hot glue at the beginning and at the end. Now you do want to make sure your ends are nice and clean, so go ahead and apply some hot glue at the very end after you clip it down. Now to go on top of this, I'm using some of this neutral striped fabric from the Farmhouse collection at Dollar Tree. I'm just going to go over that, and I'm going to secure that in place with hot glue as well. Now I did want to keep this very neutral, but you guys can be as fun or creative as you like with your ribbons, colors, or even tags. And so here is one of my cans completed, and just repeat this until both of the cans are done. So now our board is nice and dry, and we're going to take our cans and I'm just going to line them up on the board and determine my placement. And once I do, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my chalk pen, and I'm just going to make a mark through the holes that I drilled and transfer those markings to the board, so I'll know where I will be placing it on the board. And now that all 4 of my holes are marked, I'm taking my drill and I am just going to go ahead and drill out those holes. So here are all 4 of my holes ready to go. Now before we attach our cans, I'm going to attach this jute string hanger. All I did was take a piece of jute string, tie a knot in the end, and I'm just going to fold it in half and place it right at the top of the board. Now to apply this, I'm just going to use my staple gun. I'm going to apply a couple staples on each end of that jute string right above that knot, so it'll be nice and secure when it hangs. So now to secure our cans, I'm going to use a couple of these zip ties that I got from the Dollar Tree. These come in 60 a pack for only $1. So I'm inserting one of those zip ties through the back of the board first, and then I'm going to insert it through the can, one of the holes, and out the other hole of the can, and I'm going to repeat this for both of my cans. And then when they're both in there, go ahead and put the other end of that zip tie through the hole, so both of those zip tie strings will be in the back, and then just secure them into place as tight as possible. Now while you tighten this, you do want to keep making sure that it's nice and even on the front, and if everything looks really good, go ahead and clip those tails off the back, and you are done with securing those cans to your board. Now to decorate mine, I'm just using a couple of these boxwood bundles that I got from Walmart for 97 cents, but you can use any kind of greenery or decor that you like. I just think that this is super cute. And here is my simple but sweet little plant holder on display, and I think this is perfect for your small plants. Now although this piece is cute for plants, you can use it to hold craft tools and even add labels instead of the ribbon. Now you can make 1, 2, or even 3 for your spaces, and just keep those cans out of your landfills. Now these projects were all so much fun to share today, but you guys have to let me know which one of these DIYs was your favorite. Let me know in the comments below. Listen, if you love DIYs on a budget, please give this video a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Make sure that you're following She's So Crafty EE on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest for the latest news, sneak peeks, and giveaways. Now, if you like videos like these and you don't want to miss the next one, make sure you're subscribed by clicking that subscribe button below, or just click on the She's So Crafty logo on your screen, and make sure you hit the bell to be notified when the next DIY goes live. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.